Alright, tonight's treat night. So, I found some filet mignon, and you can actually get this stuff at a pretty decent price. Sometimes at your butcher they'll have it like it's supposed to have a sell by date, and they'll mark it way down like the day before the sell by date. So I bought these, and I actually got two 8-ounce filet mignon for 11 bucks. So that's $5.50 a piece, and I'm going to make it with a baked potato. I'm going to make barbecue beans and then some cottage cheese to go with it. I preheated my oven at 375. A baked potato, to cook it in the oven, stab it with a fork in each end, a couple of times on each side, and you're good to go. Stick it in the oven. I'm going to let this cook for about 30 minutes, and then I'm going to sear the steak, and I'll show you how to cook it so that this steak is going to be every bit as good as what you would go to a restaurant and spend 40 bucks on. Trust me on this one, I'll show you. So let's get the baked potato cooking, and I'll be back to get the rest of it started. Alright, so baked potato's been cooking 30 minutes. So 30 minutes in, I'm going to take it, I'm going to flip it halfway over. Alright, steak's been setting out a few minutes, and I've got the skillet on a medium-high heat because I want to sear the meat once I put it on there. And I would usually use sea salt. They were sold out at the store, so I'm just going to use regular salt. And we're going to let that set for just a second. And then once we sear this, then I'll show you what I'm going to do to it that's going to make this the best steak you've ever made at home. So we're going to take this and we're going to put it salt side down, and we're going to salt this side, and we're just going to leave it alone for a second. We're going to let it sear. Alright, so I've been searing this for a couple minutes, and it's still it hasn't released yet. You don't want to force the steak up off the skillet to flip it over. Just let it do its thing, and once it sears, it will release naturally. So we'll let it go another minute or two, and then we'll try it again. Alright, let's try it again now. Oh yeah, see it released now. No problem. Alright, so here we go. Look at that. That is beautiful. Now we're going to do the same thing on this side for a few more minutes, and then I'll show you the magic. Now, like I said, don't mess with it, don't touch it, don't try and jack around with it and move it around. Just leave it alone and let it do its thing, and when it's ready to release, it'll release. Alright, here we go. Let's see what we got here. This side took a little bit less time than the other side. Yeah, it's released. Okay. Alright, so yeah, see, doesn't that look pretty? Oops, lighting's not so great. Anyways, there's that. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it in here. Alright, now here comes the fun part. The skillet's got the drippings, the fat in it from cooking. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put cold water in the skillet. Not a lot. Probably maybe a cup. Maybe a cup. And it's going to release all the juices off the bottom of the skillet. Now I'm going to pour it on top of this steak. Okay? I lined this little pan with aluminum foil. That's another one of my little, I don't feel like cleaning stuff up because I'm lazy tricks. So, and if I had, honestly, if I had an oven safe skillet like the pros have, I would just do it that way. I don't have, you probably don't either. So here's how we do it. We put it in there. We're going to cover it up. And we're going to put it in the oven with the baked potato. And depending on how cooked you want this thing, I like to go, well, like right now I want the meat really cooked well, because I think they're having some issues at some places with the meats. So I'll cook mine like probably a medium, so it should be about perfect. Put it in with the baked potato for about another 25 minutes or so. You know, 18 to 20 you're going to get a medium rare, 30 you're going to get a well done steak. So we'll put it in there for about 25 and see what happens when we pull it out. Here in a few minutes I'm going to get started on the beans. Alright, so here's how I make my beans. Obviously you can make them however you want them. First thing I do, take some brown sugar and get about a spoonful. I've got a big spoon though. I like my beans to have sweet. We're going to dump that in there. And then we're going to take some barbecue. I use hickory because I like hickory. You can use whatever kind you like. And boom, there's that. And what I've done with those beans was I just had some plain pork and beans, and hang on a second here. I drained them. I haven't rinsed them, but I drained them. So here's another me being cheapo using plasticware. And just kind of mix this up, make a paste out of it. A lot quieter than using metal, and it doesn't damage the pan, and I can throw it away instead of having to mess with washing it. But anyways, so I drained the juice that's sitting over there in a strainer draining right now. But you see I made like a, almost looks like ketchup or chocolate or something. It's like a paste. It's real thick. But it's sweet, and it's barbecue, and it's hickory. And some people really like putting mustard in it too. I don't particularly like mustard, so I don't use it. And then we're just going to dump the beans on top of that after they've drained their original juice that came with them. And we're just going to kind of stir this in. Mix it up real good. Okay, so that's pretty mixed in, really. Looks pretty good. And we're just going to put it on the heat and heat it up. And get going from there. So I'll do that, and I'll be back, and we'll plate everything up and see what you think. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to get that out of the way first. I don't know why I left that sitting there. We're going to get the steak out because the meat has to rest. We want to let it set for a couple minutes. We're going to get this baked potato out and kind of, this is just what I do. Don't necessarily have to do that. Alright. Potatoes soft, cooked all the way through. I'll put some butter on it. You can put whatever you want. I was thinking about, I've got that frozen bacon that I dig out periodically. I was thinking about putting some bacon, crumbling it up and putting it on there, but I decided not to. I've got some cheese, I could do that, but I think tonight I'm just going to use a little bit of butter and maybe some salt and pepper and be done with it. Call it good. So alright, so there's that. Butter in there. And Kind of closed up. I'll let the butter melt. Beans are ready, so we can shut the heat off on those. Smell absolutely wonderful. Alright. Let the meat set for a couple more minutes and then we'll start plating everything up. Alright, here we go. Time to plate. Got the baked potato, which is falling apart. That's a-okay with me. And let's get this steak out of here. I'm going to put a little cottage cheese on the plate. That mixed up. That's beautiful. Get something to get that out with. Oh yeah. Let's back up here a little bit. Get some cottage cheese. Good. And yeah, I know I'm weird. I keep the little plastic inner lid. I don't know how many people do that. How many of you guys do that? Maybe it's just weird. It's one of the weird things I do, I guess. Alright, and the beans. Oh, those look great. Smell fabulous. A little bit of beans on there. So basically what I had and tied up in this money-wise, this would be dinner for two. Of course, there's just me, so I'll cook one of the steaks. But so per serving, $5, 75 cents for the potato, maybe. Probably, I mean, if you break it down, maybe 25 cents for the cottage cheese and 10 cents for the beans. So you got, you know, a little over $6 tied up in this deal. And here's the fun part. I don't even need to use a steak knife on this. It's so, look at that. I mean, it just went right through it. Right through it. Put that toothpick out there. But look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Just beautiful. And folks, that's a big old plate of food right there. So, trust me, that's as good as any $40 steak you're going to buy at a restaurant. And two of you can eat for under $15 easily. So, try it out. Hope you enjoy it.